Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, I'm once again taking a look at one of your designs that you recommended me in the comment section of one of my videos. And if you wish to see something of yours shown on this channel, just leave me the name of this Steam Workshop or mod.io item in the comment section below and I'll eventually get around to it. But for today we are looking at another small block non-combat vehicle. This one is called the Tiburon Day Sailer, which is this lovely thing over here. So this is a very sleek, very clean looking ship that looks like a mishmash between the Imperial Courier from Elite Dangerous and the Riser luxury cruiser from Star Trek Online. It also has a bunch of unique features that I haven't seen on any other ship, such as a hidden connector, and it's got separate throttle controls for each of the engines where you can essentially increase its power, increase its acceleration even, by about 33%, so you can get the right amount of speed you need for the amount of fuel you have and what you need for your journey. Pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, the Tiburon Day Sailer is 3,756 small blocks using pretty much all the DLC packs. We can see here a nice lot of information about it, such as no mods, no scripts, and it does use one hell of a lot of time blocks to get everything going. So I'll just give this a thumbs up, move all the way around to the very front, we'll have a quick look around the outside, we'll have a quick tour of the interior, then I'll fly it around and show you how the thruster system and connector works. So all the way over to here at the very front, this is what we get. So front and center, what we can see is a bunch of lovely clean white steel blocks that make up the main body of this ship. Right at the top there we can see a couple of blue blocks just to break up all the colouring and add a bit more detail at the front of the ship. And it looks like the fog is rolling in. I swear I turn this off every time, but it keeps coming back. Anyway, yes, just below that we then got some ion thrusters just to help you out in space. Then right below that we can see some more ion thrusters to help push us around in space. Then right over here we got ourselves a fancy landing leg made out of a piston onto a steel block. Right behind there we can see a ladder of how we're going to get up in the inside, but I'll return to this section later on because it's rather fancy. As we come all the way up to here and look on the side, there's a couple more ion thrusters. We can then see some window blocks appear inside at our luxury interior. We've got ourselves a big LCD TV, we've got some chairs, we've got some fancy tables. Yes, it's rather fancy to actually walk around, but we'll come back to that a bit later. Yes, these window blocks go all the way along like so. We come across over to this section where we go onto our little wing, come all the way across over to our first little thruster pod. So the thruster pod is made out of hydrogen and ion thrusters, and we also got these very fancy gold trims that go all the way around the edge. On this side we've got ourselves a red light, and we can see two hydrogen tanks to make sure we've got enough fuel to fly this for a nice long time. All the way over here we've got ourselves a unfinished hinge, which is how we can refuel this thing if we need to. Then all the way around onto the very back, this is what's going to push us around on this edge, which is one small hydrogen thruster. Putting on my light and coming all the way around over to here, we then got some rusted steel blocks. Come all the way across over to this section, we then got some more small hydrogen thrusters. Just below that we can then see another piston landing system, and just above that we've got some more window blocks, and this is going to be our cockpit to fly the ship around. Dropping down and then coming towards the very back here, even more rusted steel blocks which is going to be housing some more hydrogen thrusters, and these are going to be our main engines. So this is what I was talking about at the very start, where you essentially have a throttle control, where you can increase the acceleration of these hydrogen thrusters based on what you're choosing in the cockpit. We once again got a singular ion thruster on both sides, then the return of our clean white steel blocks at the very back here. If it was just to drop down and look up, we'll see some more ion thrusters. Getting a close look at the engines, this is what we get. So we got our rusted steel plates all the way across to here, and here's all of our hydrogen thrusters to push us around. Then getting a sneaky look on the inside here, even more hydrogen thrusters, and all the way through here, even more. And this is how our throttle control is essentially going to be working, so we'll shut off these one at a time or turn them on one at a time when we need more or less speed. All the way out of that and moving up to look down, that is what we get over here. So again, some more ion thrusters, we can see the windows going into our cockpit, we can see the edges of our rusted steel plates. All the way over to here we've got some more small hydrogen thrusters, with some great use of our half steel blocks adding us more decoration at the front there. And coming all the way over to this section we see some more windows to peer inside. And this is our little luxury area, we can just about make out the windows on the side there. There's not too much else to talk about. If we just come over to the wing and look down at that, we can clearly see our hydrogen tanks, some more ion thrusters. And all the way over onto this section, we can see some more create use for our half steel corner blocks and even more hydrogen thrusters. If we were to drop down and come all the way underneath this thing, we can see the bottoms of our landing legs right there. We can see even more hydrogen thrusters to keep us off the ground. All the way over to this section, and then turning the camera all the way around, we then got this right here, which is going to be hiding our hydrogen thrusters to help stop the ship. It's just hidden behind these silver and gold blocks. And putting the camera all the way through, I'll then link up to the hydrogen thrusters that's going to push us around. Back to the bottom and moving towards the very front here, this is what we get. This is our ladder to get inside, and it is on a center block, so once you approach the ship, the ladder will deploy all the way down to the ground and allow you to get inside. Once you're ready to take off, the ladder can be retracted all the way back in, and the steel plates on the side here will then fold together, closing off this section and making it very flush, almost like this gap isn't here. We've got some more ion thrusters at the front there, and there we go. That is a very brief look around the outside of the Tiburon Day Sailer, and I think it's time for me to start showing you what this thing is doing. Why am I suffocating? God damn it, I think the settings for reset on this thing. There we go. Yes, it's probably going to be best for me to show you what this thing does, because it's a lot easier to show than it is to say. Once we're landed down like so, we can now just come all the way over to this section. We've got our ladder deployed down to the ground, and we can't just walk all the way up. It will be a bit wobbly, and this is what we get on this section. So all the way over to here, we've got a fancy red button, which is basically your emergency signal, your SOS, where if you were to activate that, it would activate your beacon, let everybody know where you are. Coming all the way up to this section, up to this bit, there we go. We then have some windows appear outside. We now view down to where we just were. Now we have a button panel, where the big button is going to be to pressurize or depressurize the area behind us so we don't lose any precious oxygen. And then the button down here is going to be for our ladder to pull it all the way up. There we go. Opening up this doorway and walking through here, we'll just close that up. We're greeted by another button where we can then pressurize and depressurize the area. We then got lights for our lounge and lights for this passageway. And just turning around and coming over to this section, we then got a little seat to sit on, windows to peer outside. Then all the way through here, we've got some lovely gold trimmed areas. We've got our big fancy TV screen, our chairs along the side here, some great use for our beam blocks making a shiny table. And all the way onto this section, some more seats, some more tables, and some more great use for our golden skin blocks. Yes, this is what we get. Your passengers will be transported in luxury, and hopefully they'll have a lovely journey. But now we can come all the way past this little seat, past the door we came through, all the way over to here. We then got like a little table part for you to put a few bits and bobs on top. A auction tank, which does contain a couple of auction bottles, so if there is an emergency, you can rush over to here, pick up a bottle, and away you go. Got a small little weapon locker with a gun in there, all the way down to here if I can find the crosshair. Then got some more pistols, some ammo, and there is your air vent. Turning around and coming over to this section, we then got a doorway which is going to take us to our little bridge. Where we come all the way over to here, we've got a seat right above us. We also got two little passenger seats behind us in case you want to have a few people seeing what you're doing. And this is the view we get all the way around. So just hopping into the seats and looking around, there we go. And at the front here, we've got a bunch of scary dials and a lot of information. If it was to look down, we then have even more useful information telling us exactly what our controls are going to be doing. So coming into third person view and coming all the way around to the back, in fact, before I use the rear thrusters, I'll bring the free camera all the way over. I'll press number 3 because this is going to be for our lift thrust, where all the hydrogen thrusters on our wings will now activate and take us off the ground. If I was to press number 4 and bring the camera all the way over like so, this is going to retract the pistons and it will close up this section right here, sealing us in. There we go, it's as if it was never there. Then if it was just to activate it one more time, now it'll open up. And down comes the piston, and now the ladder will activate when someone gets close. But for the moment, we'll just pull that all the way back up and seal that once again. Coming back into proper third person view and coming all around like so, pressing number 1 will turn on our left engine, pressing number 2 will turn on our right engine. And if we were to come into first person view once again, we'll see these little dials in the middle. So once the arrow is pointing backwards, so if it was to come like so, there we go, that means the rear engines are now turned off, and you can see it quite clearly right there. If I was to press them once again like I just did, they'll be in their first thruster form where we can move around, the first ones are active. But if I was to find the free camera and bring it all the way inside here, what we'll see is the hydrogen thrusters are only active at the back. So here's one set, here's another set, and then here is the rear set. So we've got a little bit of acceleration, so if I was to move forwards, there we go. If we was to come back into here and press them once again, we'll now activate the second row of thrusters. We've got even more speed to push this thing around. And then one more time we'll activate all of our hydrogen thrusters at the back there, and now we have a fantastic amount of acceleration. Nothing is going to catch us with this. And of course we can do a 180, boost forwards, and almost come to a stop instantly. Yes, we'll just come back down to the ground, and just switch them down just a little bit. There we go. Number 3, like I showed, is the hydrogen thrusters underneath our wings. Number 4 is for our landing sequence, which deploys our piston and opens up the bottom to allow you to get out. Number 5 is for our cruise control, where if I was to press that, you'll see the hydrogen thrusters right there at the front will then turn off, so if I was to move forwards, I won't slow down. Turning them back on and pressing number 6, this is simply for our ion thrusters all the way around the ship. They're not really needed, but they are useful if you want to save on hydrogen in the long run. Number 7 and number 8 is then for our thruster override, so we can go super fast if you want to and take our hands off the keyboard, or to turn it all the way down and have manual control. Over onto tab number 2, we then got our batteries to auto or recharge, hydrogen tanks to stockpile on and off, then 3, 4 and 5 for us to look all the way down to here. It's going to be for our connector cover, our ladder up and down, and then our magnetic plates on our landing legs. So coming back over to tab number 1 and then press number 4, that'll open that up. There we go. And we'll come all the way down to the ground. Then come back to tab number 2 into the free camera all the way around towards the very back here. Pressing number 3, this is going to reveal our secret connector, which is right behind this section right here. And as you can probably notice, we've got a camera that also reveals itself to help dock this thing up. It's a very nifty little system where you can just hide it and then close it all the way up. There we go. Coming out of that and back into the free camera, pressing number 4, this is going to be for our ladder underneath. So all the way over to here, if you want manual control over it, we can press that, and down comes the ladder to allow you to get in and out. Pressing number 5 will be for our magnetic plates on and off, and you can see it right there. So we can just turn that on and off as we please. Then number 6 is that camera next to the connector. Number 7 is in for our O2H2 generator. Then number 8 is to pressurize and depressurize the ship. And number 9 is for our lights all the way around the ship on and off. On tab number 3, we then have nothing else, so it's time to undo what I've just done and fly this thing around. So pressing number 4 to retract our ladder all the way back up, pressing number 4 on the first tab to retract our landing gear and to close all of that up, all of our hydrogen thrusters look like they are active, and I can check in here on these very handy LCD screens to make sure everything is active. And yes, this is what we get while flying this thing around, and we should have everything at full power so you can see exactly what's going on. So moving forwards, this is what we get. We are bloody fast. It takes about 2 seconds to get to maximum speed. Camera to a sort, we are a bit slow, but we do have plenty of gyro controls to do a 180 and almost stop instantly. Moving left and moving right, that's what we get. Moving down and then moving up, we are quite slow. And then wiggling my mouse around, as you saw there, we got plenty of control with this thing, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to fly this thing around like a traditional plane, and that's the entire purpose of this ship. And with that all done and out of the way, that's pretty much it for the Tiburon Day Sailer. It's an absolute fantastic ship. I absolutely love the thruster controls at the back there. Must have taken a very long time to actually set all of that up. And it's got a great design to go along with it. So one final thing to do, of course, like in every video, is to slam this into another ship or a mountainside. And I got the perfect candidate sitting right behind me, which was my first attempt where I ran out of hydrogen. Coming all the way around like so, it's time to charge all the way along. And we'll see what kind of damage we can deal to this. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download it and play around with it yourself. I highly recommend you do because it is a very fancy ship, even if it is just to check out the thruster setup at the back there, because it would be very good on a lot of very large ships. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.